Welcome back to the WCG 2013 Grand Finals. It's Korea versus Germany for StarCraft. That's right. And we are in the game a bit late here as the Cybernetics core has already been started.
Oh, jeez.
But as you can see, it is going to be a Gateway Expand versus what appears to be a hatch first from SoulKey.
I guess so. We can only assume because just like you, we have only been brought into this game right now, so we really have no idea.
Very fast gas by SoulKey, so it looks like he's expecting a Gateway Expand and only a solo gas here for HasuObs.
Interesting. So we'll see what this is going to be. There goes the Nexus for HasuObs, getting that Mothership core started as well, too. And I mean, the solo gas could mean, you know, possibly some sort of big gateway pressure coming in. But as we do have that relatively early gas, SoulKey at least has the ability to gain a little bit of tech here to get ready for possibly popping on some roaches later on. Just got enough for Zergling speed, and he's still got 2 drones out of gas, actually.
You know, the 2 in gas means probably he wants to get some aggression going. The 1 in gas at first was just pretty standard. He wants to get a 3rd hatch. But with this much still mining in gas, I think we're definitely going to see either a Roach Horn or a Baneling Nest pop down. And I think the Baneling Nest is incredibly unlikely in 2013 StarCraft II meta. But, you know,
we have 1 European in this match, but it's not a Zerg, so probably not going to see the Baneling Nest.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, SoulKey may be looking at this saying, well, this guy is easy. He's a joke. He's European. I'm just going to crush him with an all-in. He's still droning, but you know he's mined so much gas. It could also potentially be a fast lair tech. That's something we haven't really talked about, but it could be.
Yeah, you do see that every once in a while, but I don't know. I'm gonna put my money on roaches. I feel like SoulKey, he's a player that's done so many all-ins in the past. He really does love them. That seeing him go for like Roachling would not be a big shock.
He just made a ton more drones, and I think that's going to be the last of the drones if we are going to see that aggression.
I think so.
Well, with the Evolution Chamber, yeah.
Double Evo Chamber.
I guess he's just going to try to rush upgrades out here. This is pretty unique for the matchup.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I feel like we were seeing earlier in the year in a lot of the earlier WCS matches. We were seeing a lot of the double upgrades going. So, yeah, we'll see if he decides to go with it. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can come out of this, too. I mean, you can go ahead and go Hydras. You can also go for Infestors fairly quickly. And, I mean, on a map like this where you have a lot of open space in the middle, do you think we're even going to possibly see that Swarm Host finally into Broodlord style? But
well,
no, the double melee upgrades.
With the melee, it doesn't seem likely. It was something we could have seen. HasuObs is getting ready for a Warp Prism here, and with the Overlord, he will actually likely see the robotics.
Yeah, he does.
But with this, he doesn't know what is inside, and that's the more important information. Is it an Immortal coming out? Is it just an Observer? Or is it going to be, you know, in this case, obviously a Warp Prism drop? And what type of Warp Prism drop? Is it going to be a Sentry drop? Because a Sentry drop is the most devastating. Yeah. Or is he just going to pressure the 3rd base? You know, a lot of different options here.
Well, this is Roach Warren going down for SoulKey, so he's going to try to be ready for this. He sees no 3rd base yet for HasuObs. SoulKey, meanwhile, does have his 3rd hatchery on the way, and look at this, a few more gateways coming in. Yeah,
this is what we talked about. You know, HasuObs has to do something like this to be able to beat a player like SoulKey. SoulKey is doing the craziest style, though. He goes into melee upgrades in this matchup, plus the Roach Warren. It looks like he's probably going to mute a Ling, which is...
You know, the thing is, though, if 1-1 is finished, which it will be, by the time HasuObs' timing attack hits here, he's going to have 1-1, and he's going to have Roaches and Lings to hold this off, as long as his positioning is pretty good. I think he may not actually have too hard of a time holding this off.
This should be pretty easy for him. I mean, especially considering the +1 Carapace for the Lings, the Zealots can't 2-shot a Ling anymore. Yeah. So it's just so much easier to actually keep those Lings alive. And it basically cancels out the +1 attack that HasuObs is going to have.
Yeah.
I do not think this is going to kill him, but he is getting that Hydra gen now, and he wants to hold here with Hydras.
Yeah, I mean, Ling Roach is decent, obviously, and he's going to get the claws as well, but can he sneak in? No, not quite. Just trying to pull those units out of position a little bit. Gets a good look at the army, though, from HasuObs, and yeah, if he gets the Hydras out, he's going to have that range to negate some of the ability that Force Fields are going to give the Protoss, but here's the big question, though. I don't think you make too many Hydras right here. I think you're going to have to rely mostly on Roaches and Lings. Yeah. He just does not have the gas right now to produce enough Hydras to be effective. He needs to rely on Ling Roach and good positioning for now.
Yeah, I think he's going to have maybe 4 or 5 Hydras in total, if even that. Yeah. The Warp Prism is still hiding those Immortals, making sure they are protected from fire. The Hydras will be able to target that down later on in a fight.
This is a scary attack, no doubt, coming in from HasuObs.
Oh, wow, Time Warp goes down. It's actually really good on the Roaches. He allows them to close the distance with some of those Zealots.
you know, the thing is it's so many Zealots for HasuObs, the force fields that he doesn't really have. Well, I guess he just is going all in. Actually, Immortal Zealot timing with a few Stalkers. Look at this. No force fields at all.
Yeah, he's actually just going all the way in on this one.
Is crazy,
Only
man.
Zealots here. He's not a whole lot of gas left. Drones coming off the line. And could HasuObs actually have an upset here and take out SoulKey? I cannot
blowing
believe
my mind.
this.
He's trying to block with the drones. The drones actually gets walked right through, though. And the Zealots are getting really, really low. I just don't know, man. I don't know about HasuObs here.
Yeah,
He's got 2 Immortals yet. Another big round of Zealots getting warped in. The Roach health is getting lower. SoulKey losing drones by the moment, but I think without force fields, it's just way too difficult to close out. The efficiency is just going to be much more there. The defender's advantage for Zerg. I
think so, but you know, he did a lot more than I thought he would here. And he's continuing to use that Warp Prism. It's really cute, but that's about all it's going to be because now the Queens are killing it. He's taking
2 more gas.
Those are the desperation gases where you're just like, well, I guess I got to go back and try to figure something else out.
Try to tech out of this, I guess. But I mean, that's the thing is that you really. This is why we see sentries involved in timing attacks because without the ability to split up the Zerg forces, they're eventually going to just be more efficient than you. You know, I mean. Most Zerg players will be able to hold something like that, even with the 2 Immortals. It was a cute timing, but also the 1-1 was hugely key in helping helping SoulKey survive this. Nice little cute play with the Immortal there, but
yeah, and you know the Lings still have that +1 attack, which could come into play later with Mutalisk. I think that's the safest way that SoulKey could have tried to transition out of this, but with the Hydras he's making right now and how drone light he is, he could also just attack into HasuObs here because he knows that Colossus tech is way, way far away.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, will he be able to get this Warp Prism? Not quite, but I just think this double upgrades was just a brilliant, brilliant answer for SoulKey in terms of not quite knowing where his opponent was at, you know, what his opponent was going to be bringing into this game because it is a best of 1. You can expect some sort of all-in, but yeah, just to go for the 1-1 with ground, brilliant, brilliant idea from SoulKey. Held it really well, and look at the supply right now. I mean, economically, upgrade-wise, I mean, HasuObs
basically going into the second all-in here. He doesn't have any more probes in production.
He's got to do it, you know. He's got no choice, really.
He has to spend 100 gas on his Mothership Core again. He's adding more Immortals in, and what SoulKey is doing right now is seeing if there's a third base. Yeah. And if there's not, he's like, well, I've already won this game. If there is, then he wins the game now. Hasu killing his own gateway here. He's making defensive cannons. He knows it's the best of 1. He knows if he loses this, it's all over for him for this, for this particular match. So I guess he's just trying to do anything he can to live.
I mean, the thing is right now is that SoulKey doesn't even need to attack. You know, he just checks out that there's no third, and he's like, all right, well.
Yeah, he's like, I already won the game. You don't have a third base.
I guess that's actually fine. Yeah, I'm just going to keep expanding. I'm going to keep my economy going strong, add-on tech, and yeah, SoulKey just ahead in every conceivable way, and HasuObs needs to be a little bit careful here. The army that SoulKey has on the map right now by his base isn't enough to take that, but it'd be really easy to just pull back and wait.
Yeah, I mean, SoulKey has a great economy. He is already up 40 supply, but he's getting all the upgrades, and he's getting +1 for his Hydras and Roaches. He's getting the Hydra speed. He's even getting the Infestation Pit. You know, God knows what that's going to be for. It could be for Hive Tech, or he could even try to rush out some Infestors here to hold the second wave.
Yeah, adding a few Infestors on is perfectly fine in this particular case. I mean, he knows his opponent is going so Zealot heavy that he can lock it down pretty easily. He's going to go right for that Hive, though, and I mean, like we talked about earlier, adding on that late tier tech is going to let him really close out this game in a safe way.
Yeah, right now SoulKey sees the third base, and he has 2 choices. He can either decide to take his 4th, which it looks like that's the choice he's made here, or he can choose to go out and engage this. And the safer choice is to sit back, take the 4th base, take the Hive Tech that he has, and sit on it, keep getting the upgrades out, and add a Spire, get Broodlords.
Yeah, why not? I mean, the thing is, too, is he could always just go ahead and add a few Vipers on as well and just concentrate on Roach, Ling, Hydra, and then just a few Abducts in case any Colossus do go out, because the Colossi for HasuObs are starting to finally hit the field.
Yeah, they're the backbone for his army, too. You know, once they're grabbed, if he does get those Abducts off, then the army for HasuObs just falls apart.
Yeah, I think
it's not well upgraded.
Ooh, actually, SoulKey getting some units caught here, walking right into that one. Whoops.
That was a bit overzealous there. I think he just wanted to poke and test the army size a little bit.
I think he took his eyes away from that part of the screen for just a moment. That's going to be a bit annoying to deal with.
Yeah, that actually really makes HasuObs' push a little bit stronger here.
It does. A lot of Roaches on the way, though. Another Hydra, too. And HasuObs is going to scout ahead with that Phoenix, and I don't think he's going to like what he sees.
No, he's going to see that. I mean, he's going to see the Hive Tech is done. There's so many units here. The upgrades are continuing. 2-2 on the way.
Yeah. Now, Hive did just finish, but he needs to worry about this push right now, so he can't quite go into any really aggressive tech in the moment, just adding on those Vipers.
Yeah, just 2 Vipers here, the right choice. Like, that's all he's going to need is just about 2 of them.
Yeah.
This base will go down. There's no way to stop that, but
Doesn't
that's
matter.
Okay because he didn't even get anything out of it yet. He can just retake it right after the fight.
Yeah. I mean, he could even be expanding to different parts of the map right now. He really doesn't need to worry about this too much. Going to go ahead and shut down this third base pretty easily, I would imagine. And there's a recall. Very nice. So that's a win right there. Gets his opponent to recall. Can he get into the natural?
Well, with these roaches, if he wants to force it, he certainly can. He does force it. I'd like to see him target that forge down. With some of his roaches. He goes in. The sentry's too late. Nice force it here.
Field.
He does need to target that forge down if he wants to really make this worth it. The rest of the army is moving towards that third base, and he is just basically playing tennis with HasuObs right now.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he's kind of making HasuObs move wherever he wants him to. And HasuObs kind of trapped in that natural expansion. That's going to allow him to go after that third base and kind of camp out. He did lose a Colossus there, too.
Now he draws his units right where he wants them. During all of this, his Vipers are getting energy. He just continues to poke. A few roaches go down for free, but he's just remaxing instantly. We'll have 2-2. Yeah. He has to be careful, though. I mean, this game is not 100% won, and I have to say...
No, he may have waited a little bit too long, honestly.
HasuObs' position now is still not good, but it's better than it was before.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we do really still have a good position for SoulKey, obviously, but he was very, very passive in the later stages of the games. It's allowed HasuObs to catch up a little bit. Upgrade-wise, though, SoulKey's still in a decent spot, although that +3 attack isn't coming in for HasuObs right now.
Yeah, you know, we saw a queen go down, for example, just a second ago. It was misrallied. He's just making these very tiny mistakes that are actually somewhat uncharacteristic of SoulKey. Cannon's going down. HasuObs knows this is a really important push that he has to hold. Feedbacks could get those Vipers. Blinding Cloud actually misses here. I think he was trying to actually blind those Templar.
Could certainly be, and here we go. HasuObs having to get backed up into his third base ramp. There's a couple time warps going on. Not a lot of sentries, but
grabs the Colossus too, and it's gone.
He gets one.
He gets a second one, and I think that might be game. He's at 2-2 upgrades versus just +2 attack, and he's just got way too much here. The Hydra's running in.
Oh, yeah, that's game for sure. 100 supply ahead. Got all the big damaging units, and it is an easy win for HasuObs. GG. Yeah. Or easy for SoulKey.
Yeah, tough loss for HasuObs on the other hand.
Nothing easy for HasuObs there. But SoulKey came into it with a favorite. Had a really good build in mind for what he might be running into. Ran into, I think, exactly what he expected.
Yeah, he was like, I know I'm better than you. You're probably going to hit me with a timing. I've got my upgrades ready. Yeah. And really well played by him, and that's how the series goes.
Absolutely. There's the game. HasuObs a little bit despondent after that, but he's got, you know, plenty of time left in this tournament. We'll see what he can do in his next attempt here.
So we are going to go to a quick break. We'll see you guys in just a little bit with more WCG action.
And we are back with game number 2. HasuObs versus SoulKey. We'll see if HasuObs can tie it up after that rough loss in game number 1.
Yeah.
SoulKey seemed very, very prepared.
Yeah, he certainly came into it like building a wall around himself, knowing that Hasu would likely
like a wrecking ball.
Yeah.
That was terrible. I'll never do that again, I'm sorry.
Well, Miley Cyrus is jealous.
I don't think she is. It's going to be a Forge expand. We'll see if it's
totally
Nexus
different.
first, but
Totally different attempt this time for Belshir Vestige.
Well, he needs to kind of just relax a little bit in game number 2. And Belshir Vestige is a map where you can totally do that. I mean, you've got a fairly defensive natural. He can get a little bit of a slower start. I would love to see HasuObs go Stargate in second game. Just play it safe, play it slow, get some harassment in early with the Phoenixes, and kind of get a good read on what SoulKey is planning before really committing to anything.
Yeah, I think, SoulKey here is probably just looking to play a similar style to what we saw in game number 1. Even goes pool first here, playing as safe as can be. I mean, not taking any chances.
Well, the thing is that he's been cannon rushed on this map by certain other Protoss players plenty of times. So
that's definitely true. And, you never know against somebody who got owned so hard in the first game. HasuObs might 2-gate proxy or something. You want to get that pool out just in case of anything.
Very true. Yep. I mean, it was kind of funny that this rise of gateway expands led to this kind of counter rise of hatch first by Zerg, but we've seen so many Protoss players go back to more forge expanding, go back to a lot of early cheesy stuff, cannon rushing and everything. So it really is safer again to go back to mostly playing with pool first.
Yeah, it's a lot of the time, especially against a player like this, like Hasu, who was obviously considering cannoning there.
Oh, totally.
Hatch first, but he sees now it's pool first, so he's not going to be able to do it. But
yeah, he saw the timing on that hatchery, and he really, really wanted to try to cannon. But if there's anybody familiar with getting cannon rush on Belshir Vestige, it's going to be SoulKey.
Yeah. It's totally true. With his teammate SOS, always getting at him with that.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got a lot of practice. So Hasu actually goes cannon before Nexus. So because
is there actually a little bit of a gap between the buildings? Are observers showing that?
So.
I'm not so sure.
I don't think there's actually a gap there. Well, you know what? With the way he moved his mouse there,
it looks a little bit odd. Yeah. I'm not convinced. We'll have to see if
it could be intentional. It could be intentional. That's how he wants to put his zealots through.
That's also true. Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can build your wall, but generally you don't put a gap there.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
That's strange. Yeah. But as I was saying before, with the cannon first, he's actually got a slightly later Nexus.
Did he hide that drone successfully? That's the thing.
Yeah,
Did HasuObs get a glimpse of that?
I don't think he saw it.
I think he might have barely just snuck that drone by, but we'll see. HasuObs, like I said, I'm really still expecting the Stargate in this game. He's going to want to have a lot of information.
He actually hides his own probe and will try to get the scout off. I don't think that this can be blocked.
You have to try, but
I think he will see it no matter what if he mineral logs.
I think so too. There is a gap, but it is intentional, so it's okay.
Definitely so.
Yeah. All right. So that probe coming down towards the 30 should be able to see it. We'll see.
Yeah, he sees it already.
There we go. Okay. So no big shock there. I mean, if you go pool first on this map, you're going to be probably going for that quick third, too. It's just a very basic standard Zerg opening against a very basic standard Protoss opening. So
the core is almost done. So we're going to see in just a second what sort of tech he's choosing.
Indeed we will. There's the Cyber Core. My money's on Stargate, man. I'm telling you.
I feel that we will likely see Stargate if he wants to try to switch into playing a little bit more straight up.
Yep. If I'm wrong, I'll just be like, well, hey, I haven't casted StarCraft in a long time, so whatever. I've got my oath already prepared.
He doesn't have +1 at all, so he's totally leaving the Forge, not going. There's the Stargate.
I still got it.
You still got it. But he's leaving the Forge open-ended here. He's going to add the +1 a little bit later, so no +1 aggression coming out after scouting that third base, which is pretty reasonable to expect after we saw such a late gas from SoulKey.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like we said at the start of the game. HasuObs just needs to slow down this game, get a lot of information, and make good decisions. And this map is a map that you can take a little bit more time on. I mean, you've got so many good avenues to push down with big Protoss armies late in the game. You've got a lot of choke points that Zerg has to funnel through. That this is a map that HasuObs can control if he plays cautiously and patiently.
Yeah, the third base on this map for Protoss is so easy. It's the Zerg's worst nightmare because attacking into that third base as a Zerg is just so difficult to actually do successfully. Yes, there are some Hydra pushes with Roaches that can push it. Sometimes you can get away with, taking your own fourth really fast, but the Protoss is going to be comfortable on 3 base, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it as a Zerg player.
Yeah. Well, that Overlord's not long for the world.
No, definitely not. That Phoenix is out for blood. Both Overlords should actually be eliminated relatively quickly here. But he does know what's going on now that he sees the Phoenix. And he makes a robo quickly here before the third Nexus.
Yeah.
Trying to play it pretty safe. Like with the robo before the third Nexus, it's all about, you know, I can have an Immortal or 2 out, or I can take the third base with Colossi and pressure if you're being too greedy.
You know, and you can get them to commit a little bit too strong to their defenses too, like SoulKey putting up a lot of Spore Crawlers right now, and there really only will be just a couple Phoenixes out. So
exactly, these Spore Crawlers are like paying money to lose drones, essentially. So
kind of, yeah.
I mean, he's going to have them against the Phoenixes. He can't skip that.
Yeah.
And so that was already damage done. Every Spore made is a drone lost, and he's actually going into Immortals here. We could see what I like to call the Plan X push, where in your best of 3 and you can't beat a player, you just do a few Immortals and Colossi and try to win the game with it all in.
Well, why not, man? It's a strong comp, and look at this from SoulKey. He's getting that +1 missile attacks and a really fast Hydra Den. Interesting, but unfortunately, really quick Hydralisks aren't exactly the best thing in the world against Colossi. So
no, definitely not, but as long as he identifies that this is coming, he should be okay.
Yeah,
I mean, he sees that there's no third base. There's no probe even faking it. This is very transparent what he's doing here. 4 gateways going up, and yes, he can't see with an Overlord. He's not going to be able to get an Overseer in there probably, but he knows what's happening now. Good pickoffs here on the gas drones. He's actually just going in here, poking around. There's no Spore nearby.
Yeah, it's so annoying to deal with.
Flies away.
And so he does cause a little bit of trouble there. Roach Warren going down as well. A lot of Hydralisks on the way. So the aggression from these Phoenixes is going to come to an end, although it is a bit inconvenient, a bit tough to kind of have all your Hydras moving across the map at the right time. This Overseer should see everything he needs to. And yeah, there's that, and there's the Spire immediately. He's like, all right, well, if you're going to have Colossi that quickly, I need to get some Corruptors out. And with a little bit of aggression from Roach Ling, he may be able to set himself into a position to have a surprise switch to Mutas and just finish the game
exactly.
that way.
So basically what's going to happen here is HasuObs has started pro production again. I think he knows that his game is up. He's been scouted. He at least has to fake a third base, so he sends his units over to the third base. If he actually takes the third base, then we're going to see Corruptors coming out of that Spire. If he doesn't and he hits the timing and it fails, that's when the Mutas are going to come in to end the game. And actually, he's adding gateways here. He's not making the third. He's totally faking it here. It's something that SoulKey can't scout, but I still think SoulKey knows what's up here. He's making 3 Overlords right now, getting ready to max in units.
Yeah, he's totally faking it.
Yeah, right now he knows
ready for
BS. He sees it with the probe.
Yeah, he's like, all right, why would your probe just actually be sitting there? Needed to be making a Nexus by now with that pylon finish.
He hasn't started any units yet, though, SoulKey. He has a few Hydras out, obviously, but he's waiting to see how many Roaches he wants to make. Look at his resources. He could actually just try to switch into Mutas and hold with Mutas, actually, against the small anti-air here. No, he goes Corruptors.
I think Corruptors are a great idea right now. I mean, the thing is his ground army isn't big enough to handle what HasuObs has without Corruptors to handle the Colossi. Even with that, this is a scary push coming from HasuObs. I really like his timing.
With range coming out.
Yeah.
And I believe only +1 attack.
Now it's really all on SoulKey.
No, actually doesn't even have +1 attack. No upgrades whatsoever for Hasu.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about SoulKey, though. The thing is you don't necessarily need those upgrades if you can funnel the Zerg through those choke points, which is exactly what HasuObs is doing right now. He's coming in, and does SoulKey have enough? The Corruptors are out. He may just barely have enough right now. HasuObs certainly seems to think that, wow, even cancels the pylon.
Yeah, I don't know. This is actually pretty weird by Hasu. Like,
yeah,
he has no backup plan. There's no way he can turn around. He starts a second Stargate and Void Rays and recalls.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an interesting idea, a good concept, because Void Rays are really good against Corruptors, but I don't think that he's going to be able to transition his way out of this one. This third base is not sticking around for very long if SoulKey sees hit.
I mean, that's the thing, is that SoulKey, now he's got this big army that he could put aggression onto HasuObs with, and I don't know if HasuObs is going to be able to hold this third. He force fields off the ramp. That does prevent the move up, but I don't know. It's going to be very difficult, I think, for HasuObs to keep that third alive.
Recalling here is basically saying, like, all right, I'm behind, and I know that, and I'm just going to hope for something good to happen.
Oh, here
He's
we go.
actually going for those Colossi right away. A good flank here with the Roaches.
Yeah, you know, the Roaches and the Hydras being kept away quite a bit, but there's just so many Corruptors that they take down the Colossi very, very quickly, and only one Void Ray, one Immortal, not going to be enough. The Phoenixes barely even denting the Corruptors, and this is going to be a really tough spot for HasuObs to come out of. We'll see if SoulKey keeps this up or if he's going to turn on the third soon.
I think he's just going to keep pressuring here. He doesn't have enough to end the game, but
well,
he's just going to continue to pick
at him now.
Yeah, he's just continuing to pick away here, and he doesn't have to go to the third base as long as he keeps the army spy down. He knows there's no real mining there. He does consider, though.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to go to the third at all, even though there's not a lot of mining coming out, just because it does keep your opponent from ever getting farther than they are. That Cyber Core getting low, it goes down.
And you know, he's actually getting his Void Ray count up quite high. I'm not saying, you know, that he has a chance to come back in this game, but it looks like he may hold a little bit longer if he micros the Stalkers correctly and the Immortals are targeting.
Yeah, I feel like HasuObs may be able to just barely hold here, but you know, again, it's not such a huge deal as SoulKey has just a massive economy.
Yeah, I mean, look at the supply, 182 and 97. Right now, SoulKey is basically, like I said, just picking away. He's not going for the big finish. He's not going for the big kill.
Yeah.
The Void Ray desperately using its prismatic alignment here.
Well, it's just good, solid play. You know, and I really feel like HasuObs may have given up a little bit too quickly on that, on the push earlier. That Void Ray.
Yeah, Void Ray doing as much as they
down.
can. And you know, there's
GG. Yeah, quick 2-0 for SoulKey. I mean, no big shock. HasuObs had, you know, some good ideas there, but just in terms of execution, SoulKey was just miles ahead as usual.
Yeah, way ahead.
This is why he's one of the WCS champions. It's no shock.
Yeah, and I think he may actually be the favorite to win WCG for StarCraft this year.
I would not be surprised at all. Well, that is going to be it for StarCraft 2 for now, guys. We have got some League, and actually Monty and I casting some League of Legends supposedly coming up here. Hopefully we've got the server up and running, but we'll be back with more WCG after this.
out of my dreams, and we'll never be royals. It's a running our blood. That kind of love's just ain't for us. We can be rulers, and baby I'll rule. Let me live that fantasy.
Hey, beautiful.
We still on for dinner?
Pepper, 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, right?
How about 8:30 at the vegan place?
Actually, I'm in the mood for barbecue.
Sounds good.
Take a call and stay in the game with the Plantronics Rig headset and mixer. Life comes to games like never before.
"玩游戏用 N 卡，我是小仓。Looking for something. "玩游戏用 N 卡，我是小仓。